Hi Caroline,
Hi, Helen.
thanks for doing this interview.
You're welcome.
What have you been enjoying or not enjoying in lockdown during COVID?
Well, obviously there have been lots of things that people have had to deal with during this situation, but it's also been a good opportunity to record songs that I've written for a new album with less distractions than you normally get. So that's been a positive result from this situation.
So, you'll have probably done a lot of recording during your life as a musician.
I have. I've done recording for other people and in other bands as I am a player. But I also enjoy writing my own songs. I've recorded 4 albums previously. I'm now on my 5th album, which is my lockdown album. I've done albums with other people as well, but this is the one that's going to be album number 5.
So, what do you think the purpose of education is?
Well, there are different strands. It's one of the oldest arguments I would say. On the one hand, people think education is for skills, to develop employment skills, to make people able to support themselves and to contribute to society in that way. That's true, but it's also for the well-being and health of the individuals, to make them happier and healthier in themselves, not just for a financial motive. So if you want to study philosophy, study philosophy. Obviously there's not that many jobs advertised saying philosopher wanted, but it's a wonderful thing that contributes to the whole of society and progress and well-being, as does music. There are many jobs in music, of course, but there's lots of reasons for studying music just for the sake of your own happiness and development and psychomotor skills and mental skills, as well as just enjoying it. So education is two-stranded. Yes, it's for skills and employment, but it's also for well-being and health and beauty.
Thank you. Tell us a little bit about how you became a musician and your life, and what you've been doing, how you help other people.
Well, it was something that was in me from very early on. I can't really say the beginning, although I do remember writing a song, inventing a song when I was about 3. I just always wanted to do it. When I saw that our neighbours had a chord organ, I was always fascinated by it and began to play it, and I began to make up my own tunes on it. So my parents bought me a chord organ of my own. Not many people remember the name of that instrument. And then I played the recorder at school. It became obvious that I was so fascinated by this that I got a piano, and I just taught myself on the piano to start with. Then did have lessons when I was a teenager. I took up trumpet at school, which was slight chance, I think, because I wanted to play the saxophone. They didn't teach it, but the trumpet was the next nearest shiny instrument that was possible, so I started that, and I've picked up a few other instruments along the way. It's just something that's I feel compelled to do, like some people feel compelled to write or draw or some other craft. It's just the thing that I'm compelled to do is make music. I would just say to anyone starting out, it seems like, I know it felt for me, how will I ever be able to do these things or achieve these things? But as time goes on, you just chip away little things, and it's amazing how much you achieve just through the passage of time and perseverance and resilience. So you don't start with all these amazing skills, they just build up. So be kind to yourself when you're building up these skills, because it does take time.
So, thinking about young people and the future and the world ahead, what's the one thing that you think young people what skills or what beliefs, what would give them a sort of step up in life?
I think the biggest thing is to not measure yourself against what you see, because there's so much put out across now online of people being wonderful and successful, and you and looking fantastic and achieving this, that and the other, and you never see what's behind what went into these presentations, and life isn't what it seems. So don't have such a high standard that you think you need to aspire to, because it's quite often not real, and the high standard to aspire to is absolutely lovely without having to have all the help that's often gone into put a project which has involved whole teams of people. If you're working on your own, what you achieve on your own is a very different project to what is put together in a multimedia format. If there's a film, there's hundreds, sometimes, I don't know, thousands, many people work to put a film together, and they all contribute their little bits, and a thing is made in the end. You shouldn't measure yourself against that. You should measure yourself just in your own progress and satisfaction and development, and not to give up. Many of my friends at school had ideas early on what they were going to be, and they had goals that were, I won't say straightforward, but they might wanted to be a doctor or an accountant or something like that. And I didn't want to do any of those things. I wanted to do music, but I didn't know whether that would be possible at all. I was going to go to university and doing history of art and English course, but I found I couldn't go there, as in I didn't want to go there. So I got a job in London for a couple of years doing music typesetting, but then I thought I will go to university and do mainly music. It was music and anthropology, which is how I ended up in the northeast. After I finished, again, my friends, many of graduates, went straight into professions or jobs that would lead on a path that you could see a trajectory where you know it was going. But I decided that no, I'm going to try and be a freelance musician. And at the time there was a scheme called Enterprise Allowance, which gave you just a tiny little amount of money each week to help get you started. So I did that, and I had very little money, but I advertised in the local paper and got some private students to teach keyboards to. And then I played in bands, and then once you're seen, you get asked to do more things. So I was lucky. I did get headhunted for lots of things, such as playing in shows and arranging music for bands. And then I was asked to teach in a college, just part-time. And then I was asked to teach in another college, and then I was invited to apply to be a Perry, so did that as well. So all these things did fall into place, but I did have a lot of years of, not hardship exactly, but not having the trajectory that my peers had, and that was fine because that was my choice. I would rather be working my way up in music slowly, just eating twiglets of an evening rather than getting that house straight away or anything. And I was lucky because I did so many different things. I was seeing in so many different places that lots of opportunities came up, which is all about, I didn't market myself, but I was around a lot of places, so you get known, so you get asked to do things. I think that's important. Make sure you're seen, make sure you network, so you build up your team. I think many musicians would say that they still work with the people that they knew when they were starting out. I know I certainly do. I work with lots of new people I've met recently as well, but there's also still that team of people that I've known since I was at university. So it's building those networks and just not being afraid to just do little things here and there.